Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another Casual Champion review. It's Missy Fortune time. Oh god. Her model is so awful. The amount of willpower I had to have to stop myself from picking Captain Fortune. But so far I think for every single video in this series I've used the base skin of the champion, so we're not stopping today. I bet you there's some people over in this bush I can get with first strike.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Me too! Miss Fortune, I'm never trusting your intuition again. You might notice we're playing AP Miss Fortune today and not AD Carry because AP is stupid and sounds fun and AD Carry makes me want to... You know what does not make me want to do that thing that I cut off abruptly so YouTube doesn't come after me? Fan art section. Holy you guys. What the hell? Why are there so many, but why are they so high quality? Why are some of these so well rendered? They're so good. What the hell, you guys? They're so amazing. Even some with the new design of Nishi Girl I did, which is nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so Sarah Fortune, that is her real name. Miss Fortune is just a title, a funny pun, but Miss Fortune was designed back in like 2010 when that was all League of Legends was just stupid, cheesy, corny schlock. Sarah Fortune grew up in Bilgewater and was the daughter to Abigail Fortune, who was a renowned gunsmith. And Abigail made the finest firearms in all of Bilgewater, sought after by very prestigious patrons, one of them eventually being an up-and-coming reaver by the name of Gangplank. And Gangplank commissioned two of the absolute finest pistols that Abigail could create, and after a whole year in production, the pistols are finally ready. But Abigail could tell this man was probably bad news. Probably should have thought about it before finishing the pistols. This character's awesome. So Abigail didn't want to give up the pistols. I mean, good thing for Gangplank, he wasn't intending to pay her anyway, so he just takes the pistols by force and shoots her and kills her. Then turning the pistols on Miss Fortune's dad and herself, shooting them both, killing the dad and supposedly Sarah as well. And because Gangplank's a spiteful little bastard, he decides, you know what, I'm just gonna scrub the Fortune name from history. I'm gonna just destroy the pistols as well and burn the ship to the ground. But miraculously, somehow Sarah returned. Despite having bullet wounds in her chest, Sarah was still alive and fueled by vengeance, wanting to avenge her family, especially her mother, as they were very close. And so Miss Fortune lived the rest of her life training herself to go and kill Gangplank with the help of the pistols that she made, because she found the pieces and somehow put them back together, and now they're fully functional. I'm not a gunsmith. It just sounds highly improbable to me. The one problem is now Gangplank is the undisputed Reaver King of Bilgewater. Trying to kill him is not going to be so easy as walking up to him and shooting him. She's gonna need some more resources. So she traveled to Bilgewater Bay and sought out every bounty that she could, and with every kill, her fortune and reputation grew, eventually becoming feared by the inhabitants, who dubbed her Miss Fortune, as it was very misfortunate to come across her. Which, okay, I get, right, very clever, trying to work it into it, but I kind of like just calling her Sarah Fortune. I just think it's a more badass name. I don't know. It's like Saul Bad Guy. Like, they could have called him Big Bad Guy or something. Okay, that's kind of funny too. Point is that Miss Fortune, is an absolute murderer. It's all criminals at least, but she is just going all over the place, killing as many criminals as she can, completely drenching herself in hatred, her thirst for revenge. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Zillion, and your 30 polygons. And eventually she did raise enough of a fortune to be able to afford a crew and a ship and enough resources to go and take down Gangplank. Ooh, I could stick around actually for the burning thing for Leandries. Surely Kiana won't kill me. She's killing me! You guys know how the story goes, especially if you've seen the Gangplank casual review. Miss Fortune is successful. She supposedly kills Gangplank, and now there's a massive power vacuum in Bilgewater. And to prevent worse people from taking the position, Miss Fortune steps up essentially to become the new queen of Bilgewater. Though not exactly a kind queen, she is kind of going into that area of becoming like Gangplank, for if people oppose her rule, she'll do anything to protect the people of Bilgewater, air quotes. But if people get in her way, you're gone, buddy. And this is exacerbated even more in the Ruined King game and in Ruination, which thankfully the Ruined King game did give a bit of context for why she was acting that way. Viego kind of preying on her paranoia that Gangplank is in fact alive and is trying to kill her and take Bilgewater back. And we see that temptation in the after credits scene, so it makes more sense why she was so easily corrupted in the storyline, though I don't even know if Miss Fortune being corrupted is canon anymore. But Miss Fortune surprisingly has had a lot of adventures. She has a lot of lore, of course, showing up in Ruined King, Ruination, but she's also had comics and had interactions in cinematics with Alawi and Rise and Lucian and Rayfin, who's this always bugs me. It was kind of a consistent thing in a lot of the Riot Forge games, where they would kind of recycle voice actors. Specifically in Ruined King, Miss Fortune's right-hand man was Rayfin or Raffin. I forget how you say it, but it was definitely 100% voiced by the same guy who voices Pike, and they are it's Pike without the filter. It becomes a little distracting, especially since Miss Fortune and Pike are supposed to have this kind of backwards chemistry with each other, where Pike's, oh, well, you're a captain. I gotta kill all captains, but I guess I hope that you're last on the list. And Miss Fortune's just like, oh, well, no, you're gonna kill me last. Oh, how sweet. So it becomes a bit distracting when her right-hand man has the exact same voice as Pike, minus the filters. But overall, for Miss Fortune's lore, she is definitely one of the lucky ones. Miss Fortune, probably because she's really popular, has seen a lot of attention from Riot. Powder Monkeys, thank you. Yes, okay, thank you for reminding me of Miss Fortune. Also, we got LOR Miss Fortune, and we got the actual canonical appearance of Powder Monkeys. They're real. They're actual physical creatures that like to explode. I love them so much. And now we can talk about her design, because Miss Fortune doesn't look very good. Granted, she's a very old champion, but you're telling me this traumatized, violent, absolutely consumed by vengeance pirate queen, who annoyingly is becoming the very same monster that ruined her life, looks like this? None of her character is represented in League of Legends at all, and that's because, again, she is an old champion, and the old version of Miss Fortune was very different from the one we currently have. I'll probably bring up a snippet from her original biography, but it is, whoa, it is. Man, Miss Fortune, look how sexy she is. Look at the parts. She was the femme fatale, I guess, in a way, that uses her charming good looks to get what she wants and seems to revel in it, especially in the old lore. She loved just toying with people. She's like, oh yes, don't worry. I'm not going to do anything devious. I'll party with you and I'll do the business, and then maybe I'll kill you, I don't know. But in that way, she is just cartoonishly horny. And I don't think having a character like that, this kind of just, oh yeah, I'm super sexy and I love it, that's not inherently a problem, I guess. But Miss Fortune was also released at a time where pretty much every other female character was like that, so it wasn't exactly unique. Imagine. Cannot imagine it anymore. Current Miss Fortune is just cartoonishly horny. Cartoonish in pretty much every aspect, actually. Her body type, her outfit, the guns are huge, the hat is enormous. She's so... And sure, that matched the old version of her character, this completely ridiculous parody. At least it matches, but nowadays, Miss Fortune as a character is absolutely nothing like this. And that's why they had to introduce Captain Fortune. We got the Burning Tides event, and Captain Fortune was introduced to completely change who she was as a character, to mix up her backstory a bit, really emphasize that traumatic experience and her thirst for revenge, but also put her in the position of becoming the new Queen of Bilgewater. What are you doing, Mr. Imagination? And the nice thing about Captain Fortune is it does make her a lot more serious to match that new version of her that exists now, but it also keeps some of the old aspects of Miss Fortune alive. She still has that level of seduction to her with the, you know, the way she's dressed, especially in the actual in-game skin, though we'll get to that in a moment. But the difference there is she still has it, but it's not a primary part of her character design like this one is. It's more of an afterthought to her. Like, she just kind of naturally has a body like this, but doesn't flaunt it as much. She doesn't use her good looks as the primary means to get what she wants. She still will from time to time, but it's probably more efficient just to shoot them in the back of the head, which she does a lot. Even in the Fortune Smiles comic, we get to see both ways she uses that, right? There's one part of the comic where she does actually use her pretty looks to try and tempt this person to doing what she wants, but we also have a scene where she goes undercover in disguise, not using that method of temptation at all. She just shoots them, and it's great. That adds some depth, some layers to her character. And also Fortune Smiles, Miss Fortune, I will say, I'll mention Captain Fortune fully in design because I do think it's a massive improvement, but I will say I think the Fortune Smiles version of Captain Fortune, that's my favorite. Because Captain Fortune is really great. It definitely, I think it improves a lot on the base design, but it still has a bit of those hindrances that the old one does. I think the hat is way too massive still. The guns, way too massive. All her clothes are a bit too poofy. And that's all mostly problems that stem from the skin itself trying to match proportionally to the rest of her cosmetics. But even in Ruined King, they flat out remove her hat, which it makes her look a lot less cluttered in that iteration, but you gotta keep the hat in some regard. And that's what I mean when I say, where are you going, Jinx? That's what I mean. The Fortune Smiles version, I think, is just... mwah, that's perfect. It still keeps all the best elements of Captain Fortune, but reduces them so it doesn't look quite as ridiculous. You still get the area window, but you get that scarf and the reduced hat with the quills. Everything's made to be a lot less poofy, is what I'm saying. Dragon! Imagine this! I think the reason I like it so much is because Miss Fortune has slowly transitioned into this badass character. She is a person traumatized by a monster. Not like an actual monster, like a sea monster, but like a person who is a monster, has done monstrous things. And in an attempt to redeem herself, or I guess I should say to get vengeance on the monster that caused her all her trauma. Oh dear, just like you, Kaisa, you said you were a monster too. She ends up becoming that very same monster. She's employing the exact same tactics Gangplank does. Or did. Or wants to. Or wants to again. She's ruthlessly killing anyone who gets in her way. Hey, you have a Gangplank insignia on your door? Nah, you're all dead. Oh, Lowy, we're best friends, but if you get in my way again, I'll kill you. Oh, I guess Camille kind of acts like that too. It's just something fun about seeing that transformation. The person that you want to see succeed, and they do succeed, but then they start dipping down into their dark side like, oh, no, Sarah, come on. No, Sarah, you're supposed to be the good guy. Come on, don't do this. And that makes for really good storytelling. Miss Fortune, more than most champs, has had so many ups and downs, this roller coaster of a narrative. We get to see her at her best and her worst, and making friends and making enemies. She is one of the most complex, or should I say complex? I guess most explored characters in the League mythos. Again, the thing holding her back is that for some reason Captain Fortune is still just a skin. I can kind of see why they didn't do it. It's kind of unheard of to just replace the base design with a skin permanently. Though they did do that for Gangplank, but that was a rework, so I guess it was a lot easier too that way. That being said, Miss Fortune should have gotten a rework or a visual update at the same time, and I'm kind of shocked that she hasn't already. Because Miss Fortune now has 22 skins, and 90% of the time, what's holding it back is the ugly-ass proportions and animations. Also, that is a hilarious piece of trivia I discovered. Did you guys know that Miss Fortune, if you don't count laughing, actual spoken voice lines, she has less of those than skins. Go ahead, go count it. And I think I'm Mandela affecting myself. I could have sworn that Miss Fortune was set to get a voice line update, and it was revealed, and the Miss Fortune mains hated it so much it got reverted, kind of like Kali. I swear I remember that happening, but I can't find a credible source for it, so I assume it didn't. I just falsely remember that happening. It would have been during Burning Tide, so that was a decade ago now. Jesus Christ. Regardless, the Miss Fortune that you actually get to play in League of Legends versus the real Miss Fortune in the lore and design with Captain Fortune or personality, you don't get to experience that at all. And it's not like League is short on characters that are like the original version of Miss Fortune.
So predictable.
Am I? Why did you do that? If you want to play a League champion who's a fun, sexy seductress who uses her good looks to get what she wants and relishes in doing so, you don't need to slap that onto MF when she's already a cool enough character on her own. There's plenty of other options available and play other characters who act that way or, you know, should act that way. So as it stands, you kind of have the fake version of Miss Fortune in League of Legends, and that really sucks. I definitely think if they made a Bilgewater TV show, she would probably be the main character. And again, any opportunity that I have to get to experience the real version of Miss Fortune, she's cool as hell. I think she's awesome. So yes, please do. Now we can get on to probably the most uninteresting part about Miss Fortune, which is her gameplay, which I guess admittedly I'm making even more uninteresting by playing AP. I kind of don't do anything. Yay. I mean, she is kind of designed to be the AD carry for noobs, right? Emilio! That's the guy that I played last week. We will do this together, my friend. No! He didn't deserve it. He's just a child. I think it's mainly because when you get to the more high-octane AD carries, even like Jinx, I should say, more about the traditional AD carry playstyle of just kiting and proper spacing. And you still have to do some proper spacing on Miss Fortune, but also just because you just sit there and watch it happen, which again, ironically, completely contradicts the character that she is. It kind of matches with her own personality of like, haha, boys, come closer. Maybe I'll give you a treat and possibly not kill you or something, you know, if I'm having fun. That whole personality matches this playstyle of and then ult, and then just don't do anything. It doesn't at all match the cold, calculating, vengeful person that base Miss Fortune is. Apparently she's really good right now, like in the current meta, I think because she can build Bloodthirster first better than anyone else or something. Wasn't that a thing at One Worlds though? It was like support Miss Fortune and Ashe to counter Zyra because it just has so much range. How much money have I made? Man, I have just sat back and pressed E on cooldown, and I have earned almost 700 gold. You don't think on AP Miss Fortune. It's so silly. It doesn't even feel like I do a lot. I'm gonna be very curious to go to the end result of this game to see just how much damage I did. It doesn't feel like I'm doing much, but I've been surprised by AP Miss Fortune damage before, especially when people play her support. And that's also another thing. Miss Fortune being a support is freaking stupid. Mostly, again, because it's another thing that clashes with her personality, who she is as a character. It's mostly for the same reason I don't like Swain being a support. I just feel like characters like Swain, Miss Fortune, Gangplank, Jarvan, these leaders of their nations, making them a support kind of undermines that, doesn't it? I mean, if I had my choice, I'd think all these characters should be mid laners. Mid lane has kind of been, over League's history, the centerpiece, the team leader most of the time. Or I guess AD carry also works like that, being the focal point of the team. But we don't live in uncensored meta anymore. The entire game doesn't revolve around AD carry as much as they want it to. This isn't to say that I dislike Miss Fortune's gameplay. She's fine. She's, again, kind of turn your brain off and just spam the abilities on cooldown. There's not a whole lot of thought process behind it, but it is silly and fun, and there is... Okay, there's a bit of satisfaction in doing that, but also landing a big old ult is very satisfying. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. I'm kind of surprised that my ult actually does that much damage considering I built full AP. And again, wow, we've actually made, Jesus, 34-minute game. I have time to talk about skins. Miss Fortune has a lot of skins. In fact, at the current moment of recording this video, Miss Fortune holds the record for the most skins in the entire game. I believe at 22. I think Ezreal and Lux and Akali hold the three-way tie for second place at 20. Oh! In fact, Miss Fortune got 3 skins this year alone, which, you know, Skarner hasn't gotten a skin in, what was it? Almost 4 years now? It's funny, I kind of think she goes under the radar in that aspect. Most people were pointing their finger at Lux, like, oh, stop giving Lux skins, then all of a sudden, Miss Fortune gets Battle Queen and Porcelain and... I guess it's a mythic scam. It's not a wholly unique skin, but it still counts. It's its own purchasable skin. But those 3 skins in the span of, I think it was like 6 or 7 months, which you'd think sounds incredibly ridiculous. But you have to remember that Yone got 5 in the span of 10 months and then also is getting an ultimate skin in Wild Rift, so champion favoritism doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Miss Fortune has been subject to a lot of controversy with her skins. I think we all remember the big hoopla that was raised over the ultimate skin when it first released, which in retrospect is really concerning because we had that whole thing with Seraphine and now with Samira where the ultimate skin doesn't match the quality. Miss Fortune, her skin came right after, or I shouldn't say right after, it came several years after, but it came after Elementalist Lux, which was 10 skins in one. Now all of a sudden here's another skin that's only 4 skins in one. They don't even evolve over the course of the game, just go into the fountain and switch between them at your leisure, which that's not nearly as fun. But unlike in the situation with Seraphine just being 3 legendaries in one that you can only have one at a time, or Samira just not being a legendary at all, they actually reduced Gun Goddess Miss Fortune's price so that it seemed more appropriate. Well, it's not quite to the level. Oh my, Zillion, you give me like 4 levels this game. Thank you, Ben. They actually ended up reducing the price of the skin to better match. Like, oh, sorry guys, we didn't deliver on the ultimate skin, so we're reducing the price so it seems more affordable with the amount that you get from it. Riot Games today would never. And she's also had some other controversies, you know, again, Battle Bunny, Admiral, the mythic scam. Base Battle Bunny is fun on its own. I don't mind it. Or Ruin Miss Fortune. God, that was... Whew. Thankfully, Ruined King came to the rescue with that one again and gave it a completely different looking Ruined Miss Fortune based more on Captain. Qiyana has given up. The mentality of Qiyana players is astounding. I can steal this! All right, cool. There we go. Okay, I think I said everything I wanted to say. Thank you for watching this week's Casual Champion Review, everybody. I hope you enjoy. Next week, we got to do Big Morty, the Mordekaiser, who I'm very excited for. Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. I forgot. Okay, I got to check the damage charts real quick. I swear to God if I did the most damage in the game. Okay. Tied for second. That is... Thank you for watching this week's Casual Champion Review, everybody. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.